Good evening. My name is Michael Mudd. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Inland Wetlands Commission of Monroe. Today's date is January 27th, 2016. The time is 7:05 p.m. This is the first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I'd like to introduce the members of the commission and staff present tonight. To my far right, Commissioner Pete Oliva. To his left is Megan Hayden, our treasurer. Mike Muddett, commissioner. To my left is Jason Grady, who's our vice chair. To his left is Donna Straczynski, our land use coordinator. And to her left, thank you, is Scott Schatzline, our land use director. But
Land Use Group Director, Town Engineer, and the Wetlands Agent.
yeah, lots of titles.
So it's a mouthful.
Yeah, and David, our enforcement and recording secretary. All right. Before we start, I'd like to read the mission statement and how the meeting will proceed. The objective of the Inland Wetlands Commission is to provide overall protection and preservation of the Monroe inland wetlands watercourses within the town of Monroe. In the normal course of meetings, we'll have public hearings and other applications. The public hearings will have the applicant make a presentation and or representation to the commission, during which and after the commission will be asking the applicant questions. The commission will then review with towns and staff and independent comments. The meeting will then be opened up for public for comment. I'll ask for all comments to be made to the chair of the commission. After all comments pro and opposition or general nature are made, the applicant will be given an opportunity to respond. It's not necessary for the applicant to respond, but generally in the best interest to do so. There'll be further opportunity, new questions, unless new material entered into evidence during or testimony during the response. Please keep all comments pro-con and general specific to inland wetlands matters. Other applications that do not involve public hearing will follow a similar format, with the exception there will be no public comments allowed. The meeting follows our published agenda, which you'll have. You can get a copy on the front table in the green paper, unless otherwise amended. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes. Item C, election of officers, can be stricken off the agenda as that was already done. There is a new application that was submitted yesterday for hearing determination. Its application number is IWC 2016-04, and it's 34 Enterprise Drive, and it's regarding a new office building and the bus storage facility, new construction.
Okay.
Also, there's one other item, Scott, do you know?
Yeah, under other, section 6, just a discussion on amendments that were done at 5 Victoria Drive and how those may or may not relate to inland wetlands.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Going to the next item on our agenda, the minutes of January 13th, 2016. Meeting of our last minutes. Are those postponed?
Yeah. Please.
Okay. We're gonna postpone those to the next meeting. General public participation, seeing no public tonight, we're gonna move past that item. This moves us to section 2, which is application hearing determinations, which the new applicant we have, or application we have in front of us, IWC 2016-04, 34 Enterprise Drive.
Okay, I just got this late this afternoon, so I have not had a chance really to do anything on it, so bear with me. We'll, I guess, look at it together. The application is for, as Donna had indicated, it is for a, let's see, construction of approximately 6,360 square feet of office space with associated utility and drainage features, and what they're calling a bus barn containing approximately 45 spaces for bus storage and 50 spaces for visitor and employee parking. The property is located on 12.65 acres. I believe it's lot 10, it's this 34 Enterprise Drive, I believe it's lot 10. You may recall that there were, I believe it's 3 previous applications. I don't think all of them resulted in approvals, but there was at least, I think, 2 approvals that came out of that. Nothing has gone through, obviously, it's still in a virgin condition, or it's still in an undeveloped condition.
We had extensive discussions on this during the subdivision meetings, didn't we? This is on that lot, that's the one at the very beginning that was long and oddly shaped.
No, this is, lot 10 is the, this is the lot where you go onto Enterprise Drive and you go past the detention basin, and this is a lot on the inside of the curve as you go around, directly across from Pinnacle Drive.
No, they're using a different lot. Yep.
Okay, so, yes, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the, yes, it originally was a lot on section 4 of the Pepper Street Business Park over near Timothy Drive.
Right.
They're not.
It was sort of that long,
Yeah,
odd
it was
shaped
very
one at the
long,
very
odd
end.
shaped, and it was a small building out in the front. They're not utilizing that lot anymore. That subdivision has not been through the whole review and approval process, and they haven't moved forward on that yet. This is a lot that goes way back to the first phase of the subdivision. Okay, the total lot size is 12.65 acres. Wetlands on the property is 4.84 acres. Upland review area is 6.16 acres. The proposal calls for 0, at least the application is indicating no direct wetland impact. And the upland review area, it's proposing 3.69 acres of wetland impact. They have provided 2 alternative plans with their set of drawings. And that's really all I have for you, because I haven't even looked at this thing. So take a look at the plan here, and obviously your goal here is to decide whether or not it's a significant activity or in the public interest, warranting a public hearing.
Scott, do we know if there's any vernal pools on the site? I know this area is
There,
kind
if you
of right
look at
with
the easterly side of the lot, you'll see, look on sheet 2.11, you'll see a limit of vernal pool envelope. So I believe there is. It's not on that specific plan. There's a large wetland area off to the east and southeast of this property. There's a small wetland pocket right up near the road in the westerly portion of the northwesterly portion of the site. And then there's a finger of wetlands that goes out to the road, kind of in the middle on the westerly side of the property.
So it looks like the vernal pool might be mostly off-site, but a little bit in the
Well,
corner.
it's not off the lot, but it's beyond the limits of the envelope, which, the envelope's just 100 foot.
Yeah,
As you know, there's an upland review area with a vernal pool, that clearly is within the limits of
Right.
their
Okay.
proposal.
and that's noted somewhere? I don't know. All right, thank you.
And what was the previous, there was previous
Approvals?
approvals for this lot?
The one I remember, I think the most recent one was a very large, a large building with a smaller one. And I forget what the company was. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But it was more, this proposal is less building, more parking. That one
Gotcha.
was more building, less parking.
And you said the site is right now virgin?
Well, it has not been developed.
Okay.
So they haven't,
But it's not one of the sites that has an existing violation on it,
No.
right? Okay.
no. I mean, the only thing that was developed within this lot when they built the subdivision was the detention basin.
Okay,
That-
so
so
they
that
did do
is-
the drainage, but that's
that
for
is-
the road.
You know, that's the developed portion of the property. The rest of it hasn't been touched.
Okay, gotcha. All right. I'll entertain a motion whenever anybody's ready to, no rush. I lost my word. Scott, would this be a property that would probably be good to get a wildlife assessment on, being that it does include an envelope from a vernal
Yeah,
pool?
I mean, it includes the envelope, it's got upland review area associated with the vernal pool. It is clearly a corridor, the bottom of a corridor
Right.
for that.
So I see wetlands assessment, I don't see any wildlife, so I don't know if you can ask that, or I would like to ask that from the
Okay.
applicant.
Phase 2 construction. I'll make a motion for, move this to a public hearing, because of the vernal pool envelope. And, looks like there's a lot of work in the upland review there.
I probably also had a lot of public interest, being that it's a bus depot.
Bus depot, it
Yep.
looks like there's fuel stations
Yep.
with applications on the property before that have not been approved, and
Not been
some that
developed,
have
yeah.
been approved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, I have a motion by Jason, a second by Megan. Any questions, comments, any other information we want to get from the applicant or that we've noticed at this time? Okay, hearing none, all in favor to move this to a public hearing, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Okay. There are currently no subdivision report recommendations to planning and zoning. For our regulated activities, we have no regular hearings. We have, moving on to the next section, we have one public hearing tonight, which is the inland wetlands regulations amendments. And I will hand it over to Scott to quickly go over the amendments that are on the table tonight.
Okay, so I think first we should just confirm the notice that was sent out for
Yeah.
this, Donna, if you
Can
can
we read the notice? That'd be awesome.
do that.
Lost my notebook.
Oh, the bin didn't come with us?
That's weird.
No, the bin wasn't, it
That's
was just a
gonna suck.
fact.
Yeah.
I don't know where my head is at today.
I have 100 in here if you want it. You owe me one.
Oh, I owe you one. Thank
You
you.
owe me one.
I owe you one, yes.
I'm gonna mark it down.
I'll pay you all the rubber bands you like. Otherwise, that application's never staying together.
I know, right?
Okay, so because we're a little lean tonight, we didn't bring the bin with us, and so she's gone to get a copy of the public notice that we'll read into the record. I don't know if I could, if you want me to start without
I'll give it a minute.
that, or we'll just wait for that.
Don't want any legal trouble.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, she went ahead and we did that notice in preparation, so.
You know, or changing the name of Deep.
Why can't I come up with my copy of these? Maybe because I didn't get a fancy book like everybody else. Just saying.
Told you that Jeremy was chairman at the time.
It's all his fault,
It's all his fault.
all his fault.
It's all right, my grievance has been filed.
Blame the previous administration, that's what I've learned.
Yeah, it works.
Typical politician.
What? Seven Q? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, 7Q, okay. You're a fan of that? This looks like the eye exam. You're trying to see the
I
letters.
can spell it V-E-R.
Yeah.
Wonder if Donna went to go get a newspaper.
Okay. Notice of public hearing, Monroe Inland Wetland Commission will hold public hearing on Wednesday, January 27th at 7 p.m. or shortly thereafter in Town Hall Council Chambers, 7 Fan Hill Road, on the following application. Public hearing to amend the inland wetland and watercourse regulations of the town of Monroe.
And just maybe summarize the other notification that you did for the deep and any other in order to.
Oh, well, it did, full copies of everything went to the State of Connecticut Department of Environmental Protection Agency. And those And then I think the other notification was one that Tanya had done, but I think it was just the deep that needed to be.
Yeah, and that was through the statutory requirement. I believe it was, what was it, 35 days?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, so that's in the file, and we just wanted to make reference to that. All right, so to get started, I'm just gonna quickly go through what the changes were. I mean, it's kind of interesting that there was a subcommittee put together, and none of those people are with us.
I'm
anymore.
left.
Or I guess you're still with
I'm
us,
left.
but, so many of the
By
changes.
proxy.
I think the whole
The rest of you
subcommittee
don't.
by proxy.
that don't remember, these changes were done some time ago, so I'm gonna go through and summarize, and if you have any questions, just ask as I go along. So, to start out with, the index, we've changed the index to add a few items. Most of the items are already in the index, but we added under section 7.5J, reference to DEEP, and a reference to an added section for Q for verification of easements. I will explain those as I go along and we actually get to them. So the first change that was made is section 1.5. Section 1 is title and authority. And basically what we did was we brought the references up to date. We had a choice to make. The original or the previous regulations referenced the state statutes, the specific numbers, and it did that throughout our regulations. So what we did was we took that out, made a reference in this first section, and then afterward referenced it by just calling it the Act. We took out those numbers, and we took out the Connecticut General Statutes as amended and replaced it with the Act. So it reads, the Inland Wetlands Commission, the Commission shall enforce all provisions of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Act pursuant to sections 22A-28 and other sections, inclusive as say may be amended from time to time, hereinafter the Act, and shall, and then it goes on to list the rest of it. So that's the first change that was made under item A. Item B was a change to section 2.1. Section 2 is definitions as used in these regulations. The definition of act was changed by taking those numbers out, putting the new number 28 in, and adding as may be amended from time to time. So act is the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Act, sections 22A-28, and including other sections, inclusive of the Connecticut General Statutes, CGS, as may be amended from time to time. Also, under definitions, section 2.1, we then went ahead and added again, took out all the section numbers and just added the word the Act. Under license, under watercourses, we did the same thing. Under wetlands, we did the same thing. And then the next item would be item C, where we we added to section 4.1. Section 4
Keep going.
is, are you following me?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
4.1, there we go.
Section 4 is permitted uses as of right and non-regulated uses. Section 4.1 is the following operations and uses shall be permitted in wetlands and watercourses as of right. So what we did was we added item 4.1G, which is, it indicates that withdrawal of water for fire purposes, Public Act 11-184. So we've added that as a use that's allowed as a permitted use. Then the next item is item D. We added some verbiage to section 4.2. 4.2 indicates that the following operations and uses shall be permitted as non-regulated uses in wetlands and watercourses, provided they do not disturb the natural and indigenous character of the wetland or watercourse by removal or deposition of material alteration or obstruction of water flow, or pollution of wetland or water courses. What we did was we added section 4.2D, which says the installation of a dry hydrant by or under the authority of the municipal fire department, provided such dry hydrant is only used for firefighting purposes and there is no alternative access to public water supply. For purpose of this section, dry hydrant means a non-pressurized pipe system that A, is readily accessible to fire department apparatus from a proximate public road, B, provides for the withdrawal of water by suction to such fire department apparatus, and C, is permanently installed into an existing lake, pond, or stream that is dependable source of water. So we went ahead and added the description of
That's the situation we dealt with not too long ago with the fire marshal, correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
And that is, what happens is, if in areas where there's no public water supply, they like to put in a dry hydrant into an established water body. Or if that's not available, the next best thing would be to build a cistern or install a cistern and use that for temporary or initial water volume. The next item is item E, and that's changed to section 5.1. Section 5 is activities regulated exclusively by the Commissioner of Environmental Protection. And basically what we did on this was we just added the act and took out the same section numbers. So once again, at the end of it, we just added the word the act, and the paragraph no longer has the reference to section 22A-39 or 22A-45A. We did the same exact thing for section 5.2, adding the word the act, removing the numbers, and so those two are the same changes. The next section would be, that was changed, is section G. Item G, section 7.5B. So section 7 is application requirements. Section 7.5 is all applications shall include the following information in writing and or on maps or drawings. So this is the section that talks about what needs to be included with the applications. Under section 7.5B, we just added some S's to make the sentence plural. So that's just a simple grammatic change. Item H. And
It's actually 7.5J.
okay. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you're getting confused.
I'm getting
It's
confused
okay.
with the item numbers. I was looking at the H and saying, wait,
Right.
that's not. All right, so item H, we added
J.
section 7.5J. And what we did was we took out some wording and for filing it in accordance with section, and we added additional verbiage. We took out those same regulation number references, and basically the new regulation reads, a completed DEEP reporting form which provides the Commissioner of Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, which is what the acronym DEEP stands for, with information, and so Department of Energy and Environmental Protection was added in, with information necessary to properly monitor the inventory of the state wetlands. The reporting form shall be part of the application, and the following information shall be provided by the applicant. Name of applicant, location, name of project, project and site description, area of wetlands and or linear feet of water course proposed to be altered. To be altered. The commission shall be responsible for the remaining information and any corrections on the form. And then we added, which shall be promulgated in accordance with regulations, Connecticut State Agencies 22A-3914. We left that specific number reference in because it is specific.
It's different to the act.
All right, as may be determined, as may be amended from time to time by the inland wetlands and water courses, sections, regulations of the Connecticut Department of Environmental Protection. So, that's what was changed on item, section J. The next is item, or excuse me, section Q, which was a total add-on, and that is verification of easements or other rights by adjacent or other landowners where applicable. So that's been added on as an additional requirement. Item I is next, and that's changing section 7.6G. Section 7.6 is at the discretion of the commission or its agent, or when the proposed activity involves a significant activity, additional information based on the nature and anticipated effects of the activity, including but not limited to the following, may be required. So in the case where you decide it's a public hearing, you can require some additional information. And under item G, all we did was we changed the beginning of the sentence describing item G to a current wetland assessment as opposed to a wetland assessment. All right, so the next item is J, and that's changed to section 7.7.
Can I add something? There in N, it had the report from the Trumbull Monroe Health District.
Oh, that's not on our summary sheet.
It
is
isn't,
Yeah.
but it should be noted that that will be taken off.
Okay,
So it'll read Monroe Health District now.
okay, good. So I guess it's good that we're following both
Yeah.
the finished product and this summary sheet that I provided in your packets. All right, so moving on to section 7.7 now. 7.7 says that the applicant shall certify whether, and then it lists a bunch of items. Under item A, we added at the end of the sentence, or otherwise required by law. So any portion of the property in which the regulated activity is proposed to be located within 500 feet of the boundary of an adjoining municipality, and then we added, or otherwise required by law. Item number K is next. Item K is, if I can find it here, changes in section 7.9C. Well, wait a minute.
B.
B we want. Oh, in the summary sheet that I provided you, it says item C, but that's an error. It's supposed to be changed section B. So it's 7.9 section B. There was some additional wording added to the paragraph. Paragraph indicates that no person shall file a permit application or other than for interior work in an existing building or for exterior work that does not expand or alter the footprint of, and we added the word such, and then we go back to existing building relating to, we added that portion of and then we go back to property that is subject to a conservation restriction or preservation restriction, unless the applicant provides proof that the applicant has provided written notice of an application by certified mail, return receipt requested to the party holding such restriction. We added including but not limited to any state agency that holds such restriction. Back to no later than 60 days prior to we added the word filing, and then back to of the permit application. This was just clarification on the requirements that the state put in the model regulations that related to statutory change. It's just more clarification on specifically on what and when the notification needs to be provided. Okay, so now we're moving on to item L, which is change section 8.3. Section 8 is application procedures. 8.3, what we did was we took out a numerical reference to state statute section and replaced it with another new numerical reference that is specific. We did remove some wording toward the end of the paragraph on or before the date of the application was removed, and we added additional wording. So the new regulation reads, when an application is filed to conduct or cause to be conducted a regulated activity upon an inland wetland or water course, any portion of which is within the watershed of a water company as defined in section, we changed it to 22-42F, back to, of the Connecticut General Statutes, the applicant shall provide written notice of the application to the water company and the Commissioner of Public Health in a format prescribed by said commissioner, provided such water company or said commissioner has filed a map showing the boundaries of the watershed on land records of the municipality in which the application is made and with the inland wetlands agency of such municipality. Such notice shall be made by certified mail, return receipt requested, and shall be mailed, we added, no later than 7 days after the date of the application. For the purposes of this subsection, the date of application shall be the same as the date of receipt as defined in section 8, application procedures. Back to the water company and the Commissioner of Public Health, through a representative, may appear and be heard at any hearing on the application. Documentation of such notice shall be provided to the commission. That was change item L. The next item is item M, which is a change to section 8.7. Section 8.7 is public notice of application. We did remove some wording within that sentence down the bottom of that. This is, did I say it was section B of 8.7? So at the end of that paragraph, it says the commission may hold the meeting to determine whether or not a public hearing will be held if a valid petition is received in accordance with this section, a public hearing shall be held. Right before that last sentence, except the application set the date of receipt and was removed. So that's what change was made to that. Item number N is a change to section 8.9. Section 8.9 is application for permit renewals. The change that we made was 8.9 section B. And we just added some wording. It now states that any application for renewal must be received in the Inland Wetlands Office prior to the, and we added regularly scheduled meeting before, and then back to the wording expiration of said permit. The next item that was changed is the same section, section 8.9, subsection C. We took out the words in the beginning that indicated that the permits issued prior to July 1st, 2006 or after July 1st, 2009 shall be valid for no more than 10 years from the date of the issuance of a permit. Permits issued between July 1st, 2006 and July 1st, 2009 inclusive shall be valid for no more than 11 years from the date of approval. Now what we did was, there was a lot of confusion about this. So we took that wording out, we replaced it with new wording that I'm going to read to you, but we also added a section, we split it into two different subsections, section C and D, so that it would become more clear. So that verbiage that I just read was taken out, but we essentially added two sections to clarify it. So what we added was subsection C, and it indicates that any permit issued for the development of a property for which an approval is required under Chapter 124, Section 124, 124B, 126, or 126A of the Act shall be valid until the approval granted under such chapter expires, or for 10 years, whichever is earlier.
14.
Any
410. Gotcha. Never mind. Go ahead.
410, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
any permit issued under this section for any activity for which an approval is not required under section shall be valid for not less than 2 years and not more than 5 years. Any such permit shall be renewed upon request of the permit holder unless the agency finds that there has been a substantial change in circumstances which requires a new permit application, or an enforcement action has been undertaken with regard to the regulated activity for which the permit was issued, provided no permit may be valid for more than 10 years. So this is basically along the lines of what was always in the regulations. Just kind of clarifies the what happens with the extension. It's kind of a routine. What they're saying is pretty routine unless there's extenuating circumstances or some violation that's out there. Then what they did is in the next section, we've gone ahead and added the recommended wording or similar wording to the state recommendations. That what happened is because of the economy, it appears that the legislature went in and changed the allowance requirements on how long people have to complete the work because of the poor economy. So they added in the ability to stretch out the time period to 14 years under certain circumstances. So for certain applications that fit into certain parameters, they've given them an allowance, and those assumedly are the years that weren't so good in terms of the economy. They're giving them more time. So basically, that has been changed to the following wording. Notwithstanding the provisions of section 8.9C, any permit issued prior to July 1st, 2011 that has not expired prior to May 9th, 2011 shall expire not less than 9 years after the date of such approval. Any such permit shall be renewed upon request of the permit holder unless the agency finds that there has been a substantial change in circumstances that requires a new permit application or an enforcement action has been undertaken with regard to the regulated activity for which the permit was issued, provided no such permit shall be valid for more than 14 years. Again, we did it this way so that if they decide to do this again in the future, then we just need to add additional sections and we don't have to re-clarify, rewrite the whole thing again. So hopefully that'll help. It takes a little time to wrap your head around that, but that's what those sections are for.
Hopefully the state doesn't change our time periods too many more times.
Yeah. So the next item is item Q, and that is a change to section 8.10. Section 8.10 is really, it was just, it was a typo at the end of the paragraph. All the way at the end of the paragraph, there was a quotation mark with a little dash underneath it. We don't know why it was in there, but we took it out. So it was just a typo change that was done on that item. The next item is R, which is a change to section 9.1. Section 9 is a section that talks about hearings. 9.1 is talking about public hearings, and we made a change to 9.1 subsection A, further subsection 2. So what we did was, all we did was change the section reference. There were a few section references that got messed up when we went in and made these changes. So we changed section 8.8 to 8.7 in that paragraph. The next item is item S, which is a change to section 9.1 subsection G. We're still in hearings and in public hearings. I think we're in public, yes. And what we did there was, there was some language that was taken out, and you'll have to see that in your packet. And it's hard to follow along if I just tell you the words, the subject land, and shall be posted on the subject land, which was taken out. There's various parts of sentences taken out. Let me read you the new paragraph with the additional wording that was added. This is subsection G. Notice at the site, a sign shall, and basically what we did here was we just went in and made it more descriptive about what you're looking for. Notice at the site, sign shall be posted on, and we added each parcel respective to the application, indicating the general nature of the proposed activity for which a permit is being sought, and shall state the date. And now we're back to the original wording of time and place of the public hearing. Such sign will be provided by the applicant and shall be, and we added weather resistant, no smaller than 2 square feet and no greater than 4 square feet. And then we're back to the original wording, visible and legible to passers-by on the, and we fixed the word princeap to principal. And then back to the wording, street on which the property is located. The sign shall be posted at least 10 days prior to the public hearing, and we added the wording, and shall remain in place until the public hearing is closed, at which time the sign will be removed. The next item that we changed is, I lost my place here, item T, and it's changed to section 9.1, subsection I3A. And all we did there was we changed the requirement from 5 business days to 7 business days to more reflect what is needed to process that information for the commission. This is, if you remember, this requirement in the regulations is there so that it's really for the end of, the absolute end of your hearing process. If you get in a situation during the hearing where an applicant provides information and just dumps it on the table, okay, this is a new exhibit, and you haven't had a chance to look at that, it's kind of difficult to process that. So normally what you would do is you would continue the hearing to the next meeting. But when you get all the way to the end of the statutory allowance in terms of the timeline, and they're all out of time and you're at the last meeting, you don't want that to happen for obvious reasons. So we've added in the regulations that at that point, if they have anything new that they're going to be submitting to the commission, they need to do it 7 days in advance. So staff can review it and process it, and you can have it and deal with it in a appropriate manner at the meeting. So that now reads item 9.1, the applicant, 9.1 I3A, the applicant and or respective consultant shall file all additional documentation with the commission no later than 7 business days prior to the said meeting. Next item is item U, changing section 10.1. Section 10 is considerations, standards, and criteria for decision. The commission may consider the following in making its decision on an application. And what was changed was item or section, subsection C. There was some wording removed, and basically this is a reference to associated agencies. We updated it. We took out Fairfield County Soil and Water Conservation. We took out Fairfield, New Haven Water, Soil and Water Conservation District, and the Greater Bridgeport Regional Planning Agency we took out. And we replaced that paragraph with comments on any application from, and we added agencies including but not limited to, back to the word the, and then we added in the wording Southwest Conservation District, Greater Bridgeport Regional, we added the word council.
It changed, the name changed, so it's Connecticut Metropolitan.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading from an old one.
Yeah.
The name changed again, so we changed it to Connecticut Metropolitan Council of Governments. Government.
Or whatever it's called.
And that is also referred to, their acronym for that is MetroCog. So they keep changing it just to keep us on our toes.
Whatever. Can we, just one other thing, can we get rid of Trumbull out of the
Yes,
10.1B4.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, okay, so let's make a note of that, that the regulations will also remove the word Trumbull, and.
From everywhere.
It'll just say Monroe Health and the State Health Department.
Yep.
And it's really, actually, we're gonna take Monroe out of that sentence because they're not a separate, they're not an other agency. Commissions,
Now, they're
well,
another,
they're an
they're
official,
another
so let's
commission.
leave it in, okay, so it'll say Monroe and their State Health Department.
Yep.
I'm sorry. All right, so, that's a last minute change that we just, thank you for bringing that to our attention. All right, the next one is item V, and that's changing section 10.2. Section 10.2 is standards and criteria for decisions. Really, all we did with that was we took out the numerical reference to the state statutes, and we added the word "the Act" as a result of the earlier section change. The next change that was made is they're all eliminations, and I don't know if you want me to read what was eliminated or what was.
I don't believe we need that.
Yeah, so basically all we did was, there was a lot of wording in the regulations that was just non-essential detail and references to more detail that the new model regulations don't include anymore.
Okay.
They've cleaned it up, they've taken a lot of that ambiguous and misleading detailed information out. We went ahead and we removed it, and we've posted this new, the new finished product. There's no new wording in there, there's just an elimination on those sections, and those sections are section A, subsection A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. What? So the next item we've changed is item W, which is changing section 10.3. And again, in this section, all we did was remove the numerical reference to the Connecticut statutes, and we added the word "the Act."
Okay.
We've also changed in, let's see, why do I have this note here about old section 11.8 is now 11.7? Oh, that's, the next item is item X, and it was deleting section 11.7. So you'll notice that the section numbers,
Are now
scroll
shifting
down,
up.
the section numbers change here. Normally, we don't like to do that. We will put an item in there that this item's been deleted, and we try to keep the same numbering. It's toward the end of the section. We went ahead and changed the section numbers just to keep it clean.
Yep.
So that's what happened there. So section 11.7 in its entirety was deleted. And that was another reference to that whole extension to 14 years, and it was very confusing because we had it in more than one place in the regulations. So subsection A, subsection B, which talked about regulated activity, a timeline, and subsection C, any other activity, was eliminated from the regulations. Item Y, change section 15.1. Section 15 is, section 15 is amendments. 15.1, what we did was we added verbiage to the following. The regulations in the inland wetlands and watercourse map by the town of Monroe, map for the town of Monroe, we added the word "as," then back to the original wording, may be amended from time to time. We added in quotation, parentheses, "the map." Then we're back to the wording by the commission in accordance with changes in the Connecticut general statutes or regulations of Connecticut. We added the wording Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. And then back to the wording, or as new information regarding soils and inland wetlands and watercourses becomes available. Commissioners may be a little bit confused by this because there is, believe it or not, a process in the regulations for amending our wetlands map. We do have a wetlands map. It's used as a tool to help us determine where there may be wetlands. It's not always accurate. When the regulations were first adopted, it really was used more, I think. Now in these years, there's more weight put on other information, the GIS information and the soils information that we get from the Natural Resource Conservation Service. And so there's less need to amend that map and have it more up to date. The state has also told us that they've even considered eliminating the whole process. So we do have an inland wetlands map. It does show where we think there's wetlands. It is a useful tool. We have changed the regulations to address this if it ever needs to get, or you want to amend it. It's in your regulations, but you haven't really seen it because we haven't really done it. Okay, moving on to item number 2021. It's Z1, I guess. Change section 15.4. Is that the one? 15.4 is applications for amendments to them, and all we did was we added the map, the wording the map to that. And we took out the inland wetlands and watercourse map, Monroe of Connecticut. So that's just a quick change. Then the other change to item Z changed to section 15.5. We took out the inland wetlands and watercourse map and added in map on that one as well. Next, we've got item Z3. Z3 is changed to section 15.7. And we took out, same thing there, regulations in town of Monroe and wetlands and watercourse maps. So all we did was eliminate that at the end of the sentence. Section Z4, we changed section 19, Schedule A, subsection C. Section 19 is fees, talking about fees. Schedule A is your fees for additional fees. And subsection C was a professional analysis fee. Now, we added in a paragraph that cleaned that up and better defined what we were looking for. So the entire paragraph was removed and replaced with the following paragraph. The commission may charge fees sufficient to cover the cost of reviewing and acting on applications involving issues that the commission determines by a majority vote that additional analysis is required in order to assist the commission regarding information submitted by the applicant. Such fees may include, but are not limited to, the cost of retaining appropriate professionals to analyze, review, and report on issues warranting such analysis. Said fees will be established by the commission and or its agent based on preliminary estimates from such professionals, and said estimate of fees times 150% will be paid to the town by the applicant. The fee shall be paid pursuant to section 19 of these regulations within 10 days of the applicant's receipt of notice of the amount due. Any portion of the fees in excess of the actual cost shall be refunded to the applicant after the publication of the commission's decision. A failure by the applicant to make this payment as required shall render the application incomplete. Therefore, said application shall be denied by the commission or withdrawn by the applicant. So this is a section which allows you, per statute, to charge a fee and hire a third party to assist with an issue that you find to be difficult to process. An applicant's providing some information, it's technical information, there may not be full expertise on the staff level, and you want to get a second opinion, and you want to get that input. You can, in situations like that, make the applicant hire somebody to provide a second opinion / report to the commission. And in that situation, that unique situation, you have the ability to do that.
Okay.
So the last item is Z5, change to section 19.3, where it indicated that fees are not refundable, and we've added the wording, except as noted otherwise in these regulations. And that's the extent of the changes, that amendments to the regulations that we're proposing at this time. As I said, some of them go back quite a ways. They were put together by your subcommittee through several meetings, and this is what we have. We have just received a new round of recommendations and changes from DEEP recently. We'll take a look at those. And once we get a chance, we'll maybe put together another subcommittee and think about starting the process all over again. Although I can say that I don't think that there's very many changes. There may not be any changes as a result of that.
Okay. So just to clarify to the commission, I believe the rest of the process is once we vote to adopt these changes, it then has to go to town council for approval, right?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay, I mean, so once we adopt them,
Where are you,
I just thought that was the part of process.
my the town council does not, the town council deals with codes.
Okay,
These are your inland wetlands regulations.
Okay.
You adopt the regulations, as far as I know, there's no involvement by the
Okay.
town council.
that's fine. So after we adopt these, they will come into effect?
After you adopt these, I think you have to state that there's an effective date.
Yeah,
You adopt them, you have to vote on the adoption, and then state the effective date that you want that. You have to obviously print, and I think they get recorded in the clerk's office.
Yeah.
And the effective date will indicate the date that they become available, or they become requirements. And you have to do that because you could have an application that's submitted today, or
Yes.
submitted tomorrow, and it needs to be very clear what regulation it has to adhere to.
Mhm. So, any discussion of the commission when we believe these should go into effect?
When?
Yeah, when, what date?
Immediately.
So, should we say February 1st? Or whatever business day is,
Well, we have to just, type up the formal copy of the.
yeah, and submit to the town
final
clerk.
submit
Yeah,
to
and
the town
that's,
clerk.
that's done. Or,
Well, you have to submit it to clerk, which is
so,
done.
we're not talking, we're not under a time constraint.
So Monday, right? That's the first Monday, it's the first day of February, isn't it?
Which is February 1st. So yes, we're in agreement. Okay. So February 1st, it will be the effective date unless anybody sees any reason not to. All right, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as,
Motion to adopt the amendments to our regulations.
okay, second?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by Jason, second by Megan to adopt.
Effective February 1st officially.
Second.
Second, okay. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Any, motion passes unanimously, sorry. All right. We currently have, going on to the agenda, get all our stuff together. Violations, currently there are none that are at hearing, informal hearing process. Section 6, other, Scott has added 6 Victoria Drive as a point of discussion.
I believe it's
Five
five, Victoria.
I'm sorry, I wrote
Amendments to
5
5
and I tried to write
Victoria.
6 over it, then I tried to write 5 over it again.
Okay, So this is a situation where 5 Victoria Drive, if you remember, was a sports facility that they had a huge area in the back of their property that was a remediation area. Well, they went to planning and zoning, got their approval, and they now have come back to planning and zoning because they have changed, they have a different buyer or a different tenant moving in. It's a one tenant as opposed to two, and the new tenant doesn't want to put the addition on the building, so the building is gonna get a little smaller. There's a small, very small addition that they're not putting on, and they're just gonna utilize the building the way it is. The parking lot is still getting rebuilt. The remediation changes in no way, so they're still doing everything is being done the way it was before, with the deletion of the small building addition. 5 parking spaces are coming out of the parking lot, and they are going to put in a haul road right behind the building, to the south of the building. So, this, this little arrow isn't, I can't get to it. All right. Bear with me here. Okay, this is in the applicant's program. What do they call this program? The
PowerPoint?
what?
PowerPoint?
Yeah, PowerPoint. And so you'll have to follow my little arrow here, but here's the, so I can't enlarge it, is what I'm getting at. Here's the building. You remember that this whole back area was remediation. Right behind the building, they're putting a haul road in, so that when they do this remediation work, whatever excess material that they're taking out of here, they're going to, instead of going out the driveway to the road and up the road, they're going to go behind the building and into this lot right here. P&Z just granted an approval, Planning and Zoning Commission granted an approval to fill this piece of property in preparation for development. It didn't come to the Wetlands Commission because there's no wetlands on or within the
Setbacks.
disturbance.
Is this the place with the soccer field in the back? or-
Yes, soccer field is going right here. Okay, so there's,
Multi-use.
Well, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Click on view on the top, I think you should be able to find it.
That's okay. I don't think we need to zoom in.
all right, so what's happening is the wetlands are in this area over here, and even the upland review area does not extend to over behind the building. So there's no regulated activity. So I did not bring it to the commission. When it went to the Planning and Zoning Commission for approval, one of their conditions was that the applicant has to provide verification that the Inland Wetlands Commission acknowledges or agrees that it does not need an inland wetlands permit. So I'm bringing it before you, and I just need you to advise me whether you agree with that, and if so, I'll write a quick 1-sentence letter to the applicant so they can provide that for meeting the conditions of the planning and zoning approval.
So they're taking out 5 parking spots, right? So that's less of that. And the
Impervious
haul
surface.
road is not permanent, right? It's just.
The haul road is temporary, and it's going to be sectioned off with construction fencing. So the 5 spaces are located, let me see if I can get this back. I'm having a little trouble here because this is the applicant's information. So
If you play the
over-
slideshow. it should-
over in this area, right where the road goes in,
Yeah, I remember.
there's a parking lot here, and that, right on the end of that parking lot, 5 spaces are coming out. So it's just gonna be, the pavement is gonna be a little shorter.
Which is good.
Which is good.
Which is good, because that's the closest area to the wetlands. It's still beyond 100 feet from the wetlands.
Yes.
So the only thing, the haul road, you say is gonna be sectioned off with construction fencing now.
The haul road is gonna go from the pavement where the parking lot is over here. It's going to go along the back of the building over to this lot.
And that's not gonna be an issue pushing stuff, because the wetlands is just on the other side of
Yeah.
that
The
line.
wetlands is over here, and the
It's outside of
100-foot
our-
upland, it's out of the 100 upland, the upland review area.
Okay.
And the Hall Road, they're not building a road, it's all,
Just making a path.
they're just gonna drive, they're gonna maybe clear a little bit of the topsoil off of it. I don't think they're even gonna do that, I think it's the way it
Kind of
is,
a dirt
there's
path.
dirt there, they're gonna
Yep.
drive over it. Put in some siltation control and construction.
That was my question, the siltation control.
Yeah.
Things can run down into.
Right, things,
area that
and
way.
siltation control is used for developments that are beyond wetlands, they're not just for wetlands. So this whole development over here has all siltation control, and yes, they will be putting it in along the Hall Road as well. It's to keep the trucks off the main road, and there's no need to go out on the road. They can bring larger trucks or different types of trucks right into this filled area.
So I feel like that, you know, that we're okay with.
Yeah, you don't need to vote, you just need to tell me that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you're all in agreement.
Yep.
All right,
Next.
just to go quickly here, there's no deliberations, there's no bond releases, there's no time extensions.
There is a time extension.
Oh, there is a time extension, I'm sorry. I 06-26, and this is for file 503, 74 Enterprise Drive, Lot 13, request for an extension of approval granted at the 10/1/07 Inland Wetlands meeting. Well, this was one of the
The really long ones.
approvals that qualified for the automatic 9-year, and so they went through their 9-year. Their approval is up in a couple of months,
It's April, yeah.
in April, I
Have the
guess it
wrong
is.
date.
And they're asking for that extension. I've also spoken with the property owner, and he's indicating that he is hopefully planning to come in and clean up a few items on the property and finish up with phase 1, and I believe he's looking at completing phase 2, which was another portion of the building.
Okay. And I think this is more of a formality, because the
Yeah.
state gives them this ability to get the extension.
Yes.
So I'll entertain a motion to extend to the allotted time per regulations.
So moved. I was like,
Motion by Jason, a second by Pete, to extend I-06-26, file 503 to the allotted time per regulations. All that are in favor?
aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Okay. I don't see any other items in violations, general discussion, correspondence, well, adjournment has an item, so
I had something real quick, I just wanted to go over the violations.
How quick?
Like 30 seconds, I promise.
go.
I really want to get you guys a spreadsheet, just so you can see all the old violations that have been stacked up in terms of the ones that you see.
Yeah, that's great.
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Just so that you guys can kind of get an idea for how long it takes to process these.
No, that's great. I would love a spreadsheet of all the violations and their current status. Awesome.
Very good, good idea.
Thank you, David.
Good idea.
And you're under 30 seconds.
Yeah, 25, good job.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. I have a second by Pete. All in favor? Aye.